Please welcome your engineers.
Working is in Colorado on the station end, so they are only doing commentary for us. You can switch over to them now, they only have commentary. And they'll put on their
Welcome to Rensselaer and History Fieldhouse for tonight's lively matchup between the Riverhawks of the University of Massachusetts, Lowell, and your homesteading engineers of Rensselaer. And now let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, for the visitors from UMass Lowell, starting in the goal, number 33, Tyler Wall. On the fence, number 25, Dylan Singh. And number 3, Michael Kaplan. The starting forward line for UMass Lowell, number 9, Nick Master. Number 23 is Nick Merritt. And at right wing, number 21, Jake Campbell. The rest of the UMass Lowell Riverhawks, their head coach is Norm Basin.
We're gonna go out to break. It's like we'll be back in the second period.
And now let's meet tonight's starting lineup for the engineers of RPI. Leading your engineers on the ice, please welcome the junior engineer Michael Bailey. And starting in the goal for the engineers from sophomore from Andover, Minnesota, number 35, Chase. And left defense of sophomore from Duluth, Minnesota, number 9, here's Moore. And right defense is your junior from Oakville, Ontario, number 19, Mike Bravalensis. Starting forwards for the engineers. And left wing a junior from Edina, Minnesota, number 23, Lou Nanny. At center for the engineers, a sophomore from St. Mary's, Ontario, number 21, Brady Whitman. And at right wing, the junior from Stockholm, Sweden, number 12, Victor Hildebrand. The rest of your engineers, the head coaches, sent out assistant coaches, Mike Ryan and Nolan Grant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise as Mr. Rafi Topalian, the Sydney jeweler and Top Custom Jewelers, will sing the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America.
Oh, Canada, my home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. Oh, far and wide, oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rent the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And we welcome you inside the Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you tonight's non-conference college hockey action between the homestanding Engineers from RPI and the visiting Riverhawks from the University of Massachusetts at Lowell. My name is Tom Reel, joined this evening on play-by-play by Perry Lascaris, and you're listening to all of this on your home for Engineers hockey, RPI TV.
RPI TV, go ahead. Sorry, Tom.
The Engineers come into tonight's contest with an overall record of 3-17-1. They are 1-10-0 in ECAC hockey play. Sixth-ranked Lowell Riverhawks have a record of 12-5-3. They are 6-3-1 in Hockey East play.
And hasn't been the season the Engineers have wanted so far, but you look back not even to 2000, I believe it was 11-12. The Engineers started off 3-16-0 in the first half of the year and went on a bit of a run in the second half. They went 9-8 in the second half of the year, kind of salvaged the season. They won a playoff series at Clarkson. And I guess that's maybe the hope, I guess, for this team coming out of this year.
Well, the best news that RPI has is that everyone makes the playoffs. So in some respects, the rest of the season can be looked at least a little bit as a dress rehearsal for March, if nothing else. But obviously RPI wants to get themselves back on the winning side of things, and they have the opportunity to kind of do that tonight here against a very tough team from Lowell.
Lowell in their road blues with red and white trim. RPI in their home whites, and there's a quick steal in the offensive zone. Shot by Brady Whiffen. Save made, rebound pounced on by the freshman Tyler Wall out of Leamington, Ontario. He has been solid so far this season for the Riverhawks.
I got the opportunity to talk to Seth Appel before today's game, and he mentioned that one of the things that RPI wants to do more of in 2017 is shoot the puck. They shot the puck an adequate number of times against Harvard. They didn't get the result they wanted, and so far, so good for RPI. Just 13 seconds into this one, they got their first shot on goal.
Yeah, same group that played against Harvard, only a new starting goalie in Chase Perry, who is in there for the 14th time. He's 1-10-1 as the Riverhawks look to break to center ice. Flipped into the RPI zone. Parker Reno, junior alternate captain from Medina, Minnesota. Senior alternate captain. Trying to work it up the wall. Skips right by C.J. Smith, now behind the goal. Pounced on by John Edward. Centering pass, and that one skips wide from the far circle. Caroms around to the near wall. Fed up the boards by Joe Gambardella, the National and Hockey East National first star on the week. 2 goals, 5 assists, and Hockey East Player of the Week. Engineers will have to deal with him and his 10 goals and 21 assists in just 20 games so far. Looking to break down the middle of the ice, tipped into the RPI zone, but Mike Prapaves is the junior. Flips it right back out to center. Drew Melanson battles along the wall. Swept back by Riley Bourbonnais, senior captain. Fed up ahead to Evan Tierney's to the UMass Lowell line. Tapped back to center, however, by Michael Kapla, senior from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Now Prapaves filtered across for Mears Moore, playing in just his 10th game of the year. And the sophomore from Duluth, Minnesota will shoot it into the netting, although it will have a faceoff coming in the Lowell zone.
Faceoffs are something that the Engineers did well on against Harvard last Friday. That's another point of emphasis for Seth Appert here in 2017.
There's a shot tipped wide by Tierney's to the far boards, taking a look up ice. Before feeding it to center was Colin O'Neill. This one flipped in on Perry from the blue line. Easy stop there for the sophomore netminder, and he'll hold on to it there.
The starting lines for the Engineers: Riley Bourbonnais with Evan Tiernies and Drew Melanson, Lou Nanny with Brady Whiffen and Victor Liljegren, Jesper Orval, Jacob Hayhurst, and Patrick Polino, the third line. And the fourth line is made up of Jake Morello, Jimmy DeVito, and Alex Rodriguez.
Face off to the right of Perry. Patrick Polino will chase this one down. He had a solid first half to his freshman campaign. Gets it as far as the Lowell line, where it's played back to center. Who wants it? It's Will Riley up the far boards, finding Polino. Fed across and tipped into the zone by Hayhurst. Jesper Orval trying to find it there. The junior out of Halmstad, Sweden. Flipped around to the far point now. Shot wide by Riley, tipped in front, and fanning on it was Orval. He had the whole net to shoot at, but the puck just hopped on him just a bit, and he wasn't able to feed it on goal. What a chance for Orval there.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the little things. He had a whole wide gaping mouth of the net to shoot at, and just whiffed on it. He's had some issues during his time here at RPI and just finishing, and there was another opportunity right there that he missed.
Doesn't have a goal so far this year, Orval, and sometimes you can see why, although he's very talented. Orval 4 assists so far this season. Moving up ice now come the Riverhawks into the zone. Stopping at the far boards is Nick Master, fed to the slot now. Tyler Mueller to the point. Arister through traffic, hit the leg of DeVito. Karams around behind, now tipped back to the point. Goranson moved down low by Master. Parker Reno will jump on it for RPI. Rodriguez to center DeVito, touch pass on for Morello. Jake Morello in on the backhand, a shot that goes high and wide. Pinching in now TJ Samick, the freshman defenseman playing in his 8th game out of St. Paul, Minnesota, former Brookings Blizzard. It'll be worked up the near wall, high in the air. That one didn't hit the catwalk. No, we play on. Slapped across by Samick, finding Prapavesis. He had trouble with the stick handle, just gave it away. Into the zone is Smith. Knocked off his stick, comes right to Edward. But the Engineers repossess and move it up ice. Too far for Lou Nanny. Wave off the icing. They'll say he got a touch. Zink behind the goal for UMass, or Lowell, I should say, is losing his stick was Nanny. And it'll be regathered here by Kapla, the captain. Now Bourbonnais chipping into the offensive zone. 16-17 left in the first period. Shots are 3-1 RPI, no score. Engineers with the best chance so far. Wide open opportunity for Jesper Orval. We have an icing here. No, good dump in there.
Engineers doing a pretty good job of moving the puck through the neutral zone so far in this one, but just not getting anything to connect. And as I say that, they send the puck all the way down the ice for icing.
Had to say something about that, Tom.
Just had to open my mouth.
Had to do it.
Sometimes it's a jinx.
Yeah.
I come to realize that. But so far, some decent opportunities. We saw Orval miss the net. We saw a backhand opportunity by Jake Morello that just went wide, but RPI is getting the puck down low at least, so that's a good place to start from as they start off this contest with a 3-1 edge in shots on goal.
Jared Wilson still the national leader for goals by a defenseman with 8. Up the boards for Bourbonnais, on further for Victor Liljegren. He was hot right before the break as the shot goes over the top by Bourbonnais all the way out of the zone. They'll be tracked back into the RPI end. Rolling puck gathered by Reno. A little bit of forecheck pressure comes from Wilson as it's hit along the far wall. That being Connor Wilson for Lowell. And now another icing on RPI here. Engineers chasing but not able to track it down.
That one more just of a tough break. He's got kicked ahead just behind the red line. Kind of in a, I'm going to call it an unforced error, maybe just a bad break for RPI. Ends up with the face-off back down in their own end. But once more, we're seeing RPI willing to take some shots even from the outside. That's a good step in the right direction.
Shot through traffic by Goranson. Perry never saw it, but it was well wide. Now Melanson. He'll carry ahead, has some speed. He'll move it into the attacking zone all by himself now as his teammates change behind him. Goranson once more. Matthias Goranson, a freshman from Slottsbrunn, Sweden. Played around to the far boards, now out to center. Lowen to the RPI line, fed in front, in on goal, sticked away by Perry. Behind the goal, Evan Tiernies, the team's point leader with 20 on 4 goals and 16 assists from Qualicum Beach, BC. He works it as far as center, backhanded right back in by Goranson. He'll go off on a change himself. Now an open net and a feed in front. Pad stop made, as that was nearly a costly play for the Engineers. Almost out of nothing. But Chase Perry did get that left pad across to make the stop. Now fed ahead. Tiernies tips it in. It'll be chased down by Zink, who takes a look around before playing it across for Kepler. Good forecheck pressure by Polino. Dislodges the puck there, but it's right back down to the far side there, out to center Zink. He'll fire it in, cross-ice dump to the near side. Played around behind by Camrus. Back to the point, kept in by Kepler. They duel for it there. Orval fed across, tracked down by Reno. Parker Reno to center. One hands it along the wall. He gets knocked down, picked up by Orval. Well offside is Reno, who was knocked down in the play, but he touches up, and now Hayhurst in. Had the lone goal against Harvard last Friday. And the Engineers' 5-1 loss to the then number 4 Crimson. Fed ahead by Moore, and that hit a skate. Pops right to Mears Moore. But good quick change from the Riverhawks. There's a cross-ice pass nearly intercepted by Gambardella. Don't want to play with fire there. It's fed back to the far side now. Jesper Orval trying to track it down. Prapavesis flips it deep off the glass. Trying to find it, Polino. He was run into there by Kepler. And now Lowell right back out to center with it. Edward into the attacking zone. Hip check by Moore, but he slicks right through it. Pad stop by Perry on a one-timer in front. A big-time save there for the sophomore. Still not out of danger yet as Edward had it for a moment. Pinching in now, Forney behind the goal. Around to the near wall. Orval trying to find it there. Taps it back for Prapavesis. Cross-ice feed connects to Moore. 7 minutes in, no score, RPI. And the number 6 Riverhawks and the Engineers playing right with the number 6 team in the country so far. Shots are 4-3 Lowell to this point. Giveaway in the attacking zone. Rodriguez trying to find it now. Morello to the near point, pinching in Wilson. He'll keep it alive on the poke check. Morello back around, but backing up was Wilson. Somehow kept it in the zone. Fires one off of Rodriguez, and we get a whistle. Maybe it was offside. We're getting a whistle nonetheless. 12:34 on the clock, first period, no score.
The defensive pairings for the Engineers tonight: Mears Moore is with Mike Prapavesis, Jared Wilson with Will Riley, and TJ Samick paired off with Parker Reno, and all Minnesota defensive pairing for the Engineers.
Gotta like that. Face off, neutral ice, flipped along. It'll be chased down by Colin O'Neill in the far corner, runs into Moore. Riley there as well, but it's Jimmy DeVito, one of the co-captains for the Engineers. Bloomingdale, Illinois to the far side for Moore. Had a bit of trouble with it, now he feeds it all the way down the ice. This will be a third icing here on RPI in the period. But this group not out there for too long, so it shouldn't have too much effect on them.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, especially Seth Appert is one that's been known to employ this quite frequently. I know it's become almost the norm around college hockey, but you ice the puck, sometimes you call a timeout, but not here, not now. The Engineers probably would do well to hang on to that timeout as long as they can. You don't want to burn it early in the first period.
Face-off win for Lowell. Fed on goal by Kepler. Patted away by Perry. Now to the point for Zink. Back to Kepler. He has some space. He'll wrist one on goal. Another pad stop by Perry. Carries to the far side. Rodriguez up the wall all the way down. This will be... No, they wave it off very late. Zink had to play it. And now Kepler quickly ahead. Left along the boards and carried in. Drop pass by Wilson. That one's flipped up into the netting. We'll have another stoppage here.
I'm not sure I like that decision to kind of wait to wave it off until the very end. I mean, one of the reasons why you have icing that's more or less automatic once they reach the dots is for safety's sake.
You mean the hybrid?
The hybrid icing, right? So it doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to wait that long to wave it off, you might as well just call it.
Right. Well, they do, and it created a bit of confusion. Now a giveaway in front. Shot right on, they score. Nick Master with his second goal of the year. And he was gifted one there. They put it right on his tape, right between the circles, and he made no doubt about that one. The sophomore from Broomall, PA, makes it 1-0 Lowell.
That's one of the multitude of items that the Engineers have been looking to clean up on a little bit, the spot mistakes that have been made, especially in their own end. A turnover ends up on a stick. When you have the puck and suddenly you don't have the puck in your own end, it can be difficult to readjust, move from an offensive footing back into a defensive footing. You get kind of flat foot. You get caught flat-footed. You end up with a situation where your goaltender...
Now a penalty coming up here, I believe, on Lowell as Melanson tried to drive his way in. And he draws the first penalty of this game. It'll go on the Riverhawks.
It's an interference call. That is absolutely the right call in that situation. And going to the box will be Joe Gambardella, the senior out of Staten Island, New York. So the Engineers going to the power play for the first time this evening. Their power play has actually improved since they were last here at the Fieldhouse 45 days ago. 17.9% now on the power play, 19 for 106. Not too shabby for the Engineers.
Defensive zone face-off win. Zink will fire it down from his own end. On goal, Perry had to make the basket grab. And the RPI power play will start up once again. Here's Riley. Off Hayhurst's skate, lost it, slammed right back down by Zink. And Perry will have to stop it in the corner. Mike Prapavesis for RPI, the junior from Oakville, Ontario, will turn things up ice. Finding Hayhurst. Chips it off the boards, he'll try and track it down. Behind the net, Liljegren off the skate of Bourbonnais. As he was open, couldn't find him. Now it's out to center past Riley. And back to the RPI end, allowing UMass Lowell to change its penalty killers. Riley from center fakes a shot, carries in, poked off his stick. Clearing effort by Evan Campbell, the Edmonton Oilers draft pick, is out to center. And back down the ice, Evan Tierney's will start the breakout this time. 1 minute left in the RPI power play. The interference call on Joe Gambardella. Wilson gets to the red line, drops it back for Polino. Fed across for Tierney's into the zone. Whiffen trying to find it, works his way up the wall, stolen away and backhanded back out and down by Campbell. Once again in on goal. Perry will leave it there. Wilson with 39 seconds to go in the RPI power play, which hasn't done much yet other than just enter the zone. They'll try this play again, drop it off for Polino into the zone for Tierney's with a little bit of speed. Tries to turn it back towards the point. It was a good hit by Edward, but then they give it away. Melanson had a crack at it. Picked back up and moved out by Smith. And now a chance to break shorthanded. Walking right in, a shot, and a good pad save, but a penalty's coming. Edward pointing to the center ice dot, asking for a penalty shot. He's not going to get that, but we will have a penalty on the Engineers, which will wipe out the final 14 seconds of this RPI power play.
That's some solid speed displayed by Edward there to draw the penalty. It's one you take when you're trailing the play. I would say he didn't quite have enough of an edge to gain that penalty shot he wanted, but Evan Tierney's heading off for slashing. RPI with no shots on that power play, and they have given up now the last 8 shots in a row. Lowell now leads the game in total shots on goal 9-3 as their power play just about to begin.
Shot from the far point, blocked by Moore. He'll try and turn it back towards the corner. Out of the box is Gambardella. Power play now for about minute 45 as the Engineers fired all the way down, out to snare it. Here's the goaltender, Tyler Wall. Hasn't had much to do since the Engineers had an early 3-1 edge in shots. It's now, as Tom mentioned, 9-3 Lowell. This power play is very good for UMass Lowell, 24.2%. One of the best in the country. Forney keeps it in at the point. Engineers' penalty kill has been on a downward trend since the start of the year when they were in the top 5 in the first few weekends. Up around 90%, not there anymore, down around 82%. In fact, as they clear, just at 81.7 currently, 94 of 115 killed. And they have a minute 5 left on the Tierney's penalty here. Fed back along to center. Zink drops it off. Kicked at by Smith, nearly stolen away by Melanson. He tries to skate with it. He's cut off by Edward. And it'll be controlled once more by Zink and the Riverhawks into the zone. Gambardella with speed, walking in, wrist shot coming, looking for the top right corner, but in turn shoots it all the way out of the zone. Had a lot of mustard on that one. Capella across. As I mentioned, 2 goals, 5 assists last week for Gambardella, the national first star and Hockey East player of the week. Spinning around at the point is Goranson. Plays it down low, skips by everybody. Gambardella will pick it up in the corner. Trying to center off the skate of Melanson. One time clear by Moore. Now trying to jump on it. Short-handed was Bourbonnais, and he got a backhand shot away, but the save was made by Wall. 7:44 to go in the period. Good outlet pass in. Shot and a goal. Kenny Hausinger, the freshman from Anchorage, Alaska, with his 4th goal of the season. Makes it 2-0 Lowell, and I believe it was an even strength goal for the Riverhawks.
I think that one might ultimately count as a power play goal.
Okay.
In the end, I think there's probably 5 or 6 seconds remaining on the penalty to Tierney's, but it was almost a goal that was created by the shorthanded chance that Bourbonnais had. He
No, you're right.
He kind of got caught up to the puck a little bit late and was able to get a shot off. Wasn't a very high quality one, but it left him behind the play as the puck moved back down ice, and he wasn't able to get himself off and replaced in time. And that left Lowell with a lot of ice to work with. And
You're right.
quick ripped shot ends up in the back of the net. It's 2-0 Lowell.
A power play goal. The Riverhawks are 1 for 1 on the man advantage just at the end of it. I thought it might have snuck after the fact, but no. 2-0 is the lead. 7:20 to go in the period. And we get an icing here.
The official scoring on Lowell's first goal tonight was an even strength goal. It's listed as an unassisted goal for Nick Master, his second of the year at 8:28 and 1-0 Lowell. And Lowell's second goal scored on the power play by Kenny Hausinger, his fourth goal of the season to make it 2-0 Riverhawks. And the assists, I didn't pick up the initial assist, but I heard that the secondary assist was awarded to Tyler Wall, the netminder for the Riverhawks, who I believe essentially will get an assist for saving the shot that was coming off the backhand from Riley Bourbonnais.
The rule book says you have to actually be playing the puck, so we'll see if they actually give it to him in the end. Simply making a save does not earn you an assist as a goaltender, but playing the puck with your goaltender stick intentionally will give you that assist. So we'll see. They'll probably look at it a few times.
Matthias Goranson with the primary assist for the Riverhawks, and Wall is indeed currently listed as the secondary assist. But I agree that may be subject to change. I don't recall him actually making what I guess you would call a hockey move with the puck. He kind of just got in Bourbonnais' way. As I mentioned, Riley Bourbonnais, the senior out of Rochester, kind of unable to really take a good whack at it. He was trying to catch himself up to the puck as it was sliding down and just got there in time to really make a split-second decision to try to backhand it, and Wall just pushed it aside. And from there, the rush was back on the other way. So in a lot of ways, that save helped, and the nature of the save helped create the goal by helping move the puck down ice more quickly than Bourbonnais was, and his replacement were able to get down to take care of it. But nonetheless,
yep, Goranson and Wall are the assists. You're right.
Move by Wall.
Absolutely. 2-0 UMass Lowell leading RPI, the number 6 Riverhawks, as it's tipped into the zone by Hayhurst. It'll be gathered here by Kepla. Fed cross ice. Parker Reno jumps on it there. He'll try to lead a rush back the other way. He stops up in the corner. Handed off for Polino and given away. Kepla. Ooh, Morin fanned on that pass, but Kepla bails him out a bit. Feeds it to center. Here comes Master. Had the first goal for Lowell. Centering pass broken up by Reno to the corner. Turning with it, Marin. A shot. That one skips over the top. It'll be played to the far boards. Now Goranson fed off the skate and out to center. That one hit Orval. And Matthias Goranson back to pick it up. Given away. Walking right in Polino. He snapped his stick. Did Goranson right in half. Polino's shot was blocked very well by the defenseman, who was playing, of course, without that stick. Turning around quickly. Engineers onside. Bourbonnais in. Looking 5-hole. Easy stop there as Wall had it red. Now back out to center. Gambardella trying to pry it away was Melanson, but it's moved into the zone by Edward. In the corner now, Prapavesis shoots it cross ice. It'll be gathered there by Melanson. Engineers trying to skate in 3-on-2 if they hurry. Into the middle, a little bit too far out in front of Tyranese. A wild backhand try by Bourbonnais was fanned on, and now Edward to center. Make that C.J. Smith, however, but it's taken over by the Engineers anyway. Prapavesis, 5:35 to go in the first period. 2-0 Lowell leads. Prapavesis in to the near wall, shoots it in. Now Tierney's at the hash marks. Gives it right away there to Forney. It'll be played up the near wall by Edward. And a good pass there all the way down. It'll be gathered by Campbell. Campbell stopping in the corner. Takes a look around. His team joins them in the attacking zone. He's being watched by Reno. Behind the goal, trying to one-hand it to himself. He's pinned up, and now Tyranese comes back to help take it away. TJ Samick will carry to center. Hands it off for Tyranese. Into the zone for Rodriguez. Pass in the air, kind of flopped one across for Morello, who couldn't control. Now it's back to center for Campbell. Campbell on the move. Trying to work around Samick, has to be careful there to not take an interference call. It'll be picked up by Collins. Ryan Collins, watched by Riley. Behind it goes for Campbell. Is at the end of a shift. Given away to Rodriguez. He'll skate back the other way. Alex Rodriguez in. Has a man trailing. Takes the shot. It deflects wide. DeVito was the third man in if he could have found him. But he elects to shoot. Kapla now. He'll skate it ahead. Fed a little bit too far for the intended target, that being O'Neal. Turned right back around at center. Picked up at the blue line by Goranson. And he'll take a look up ice. Goranson in. He'll shoot it around. All the way to the near wall. Popped in the air past Wilson, who continues to dig away. It'll be tracked down by Hausinger. He had the most recent Lowell goal. Shot wide into the near corner. Chopped at by Nanny, gathered by Riley, high off the glass. Moved along by the Engineers. They are offside. He'll have to touch up. That allows Hausinger to go back and pick it up. Hausinger again into the attacking end. Tries to make a move on Nanny, gets it past him. Engineers have it defended pretty well. Prapavesis once more, 3:40 left. And now Prapavesis' stick is lifted, but he fights his way back to win the puck ahead for Nanny. Nanny stops at the half wall and dishes it back to Moore. Rister coming, hit a shin pad, Karams to the far side. Bandied away and now carried to center. Marin in, trying to drive the net, stops in the circle. Centering pass all the way through, skipped off the stick of Avni Bashira. And now fed to the far side, kicked at one-time save, and it'll be picked up there by Whiffen. RPI dodges a bullet there. A few players couldn't quite find it. It'll be played back out to center, Forney. On further into the zone, stick handling. There's one-handed away from Master, and now Orval back the other way. Flips it on goal. Missing it with the glove was Wall, but he gets some help from his teammates. Kapla. Near side, chipped in by Camrus. And behind is Reno. Stolen away by Edward. Now the defenseman Zink all the way in. Well, just flipped it down low, nobody home. High in the air and out of play, in fact. And we'll have a stoppage with 2:37 left in the first period. 2-0 Lowell. Shots are 12-6 in favor of the visitors.
Really like what I'm seeing from Lowell on transition. They move the puck well without having to pass it, really, because they're utilizing team speed efficiently. They gain the zone without being tentative about it, and they head right in and look for opportunities to set something up, and it's really kind of catching the RPI defense off guard.
Face off here. Flipped in deep. Gambardella takes a look around. Back to the point for Kapla. Lots of room for Zink on the far side. Fed right through. Behind Hayhurst. He couldn't quite find it. Now Gambardella back to Kapla once more. Into the slot. Turning Smith. Shot and a save by Perry. Picked up by Orval. And he'll skate it the other way. 4 Engineers cross center. Hayhurst had it pop off his stick. That one deflects off of Edward, who now throws a half-hearted hit into Reno. It'll be chipped into the corner and tracked down by Kapla. 2 minutes to go in the period. Kapla drops it back. Zink holding, feeding through center. This is Campbell, poked away by Bourbonnais. Engineers trying to move it in quickly. Tyranese didn't quite have the pace needed to create a chance there, as now Campbell heads back the other way. 2-on-2 as they hit the RPI line. Wilson stands up his man. That was Campbell. They continue to duel as the puck follows them behind the goal. Wilson once more as Tyranese helps out to separate Campbell from the play. Fed off the boards and in deep, wave off the icing as Bourbonnais tracks it there. Behind the goal from Melanson, tried to lift a stick and did. His second man in helps out as it's backhanded to center, looking to start a break. They do find Lowen up the wall, but he's wrapped up by Riley. Down low, too far for Collins. Left there by Wilson, now Tyranese. Down the middle, nobody home. They'll say no as Berisha could have touched it, they say, or did. And now Nanny in the far corner, he's double teamed. And now flipped out to center by Hausinger. Carried in offside by O'Neal. 52.2 to go in the first. Still 2-0 Lowell.
Well, RPI started off this period with good opportunities offensively. They were taking shots, but now in the final minute of the period, they have just 6 shots on goal total. You know, some of that isn't on them. You have to credit Lowell for playing some really good defense. It's not that RPI is holding the puck down in the zone and looking for good opportunities. They do need to shoot the puck when they have it, but they're just getting down there and they're just unable to deal with the defense.
Puck shot around. Prapavesis will try and find it there. He's tied up. Picked up by Brady Whiffen. Carried on further by Victor Liljegren. Liljegren on his backhand flips it wide. Picked up by Moore. He's got some space. Takes a shot again that hits bodies. Picked up by Prapavesis. Back across for more. A shot deflects, and that one went wide as well. Not getting to the goaltender wall. Once again, plenty of action going on in front of him. Congestion in front of the Lowell net. Fed near side. Bouncing puck corralled by Morello. Feeds it ahead for Whiffen. Whiffen in. Slap shot coming and a save. It'll be gathered and moved back out by Cameras as the period ends. 2-0 Lowell. Tom, after one, shots 13-7 after that last try.
Yeah, and I think that last shot by Whiffen was kind of indicative of what Appert wants to see from his charges there. Just take some shots. I know part of it probably that Brady Whiffen knew that there wasn't a whole lot of time left, but took that kind of low percentage shot from just in front of the blue line, in part just to try to make something happen. You take shots, see if you can get some rebounds. And like I said, not quite high percentage. They're taking a lot of shots from outside that home plate area that we hear so much about recently. The kind of
the shooting
area,
zone,
the shooting zone right in front of the net, which includes the slot in the area between the face-off circles. But for UMass Lowell, certainly a wonderful first period. They started off a little bit slow, but they picked it up just ahead of their power play, which they also were successful on that as well. That lends itself to what has been a very strong power play this season. Came in shooting 24.2% and they're currently 24 for 96 on the man advantage. So a great start for Lowell. RPI kind of putting themselves behind the eight ball with a couple of tactical errors, both while they were on the man advantage and also just before that when they had that bad turnover that led to the goal by Nick Baster for the Riverhawks. So RPI with some work to do, but once again, for RPI, this kind of, more of a game of just getting themselves into the right habits and making sure that by the end of the night that they're doing more of what they will need to do in order to be successful in ECAC play. We'll take a break and we'll be back later on with the second period. Your score here from Houston Fieldhouse after one period is Lowell 2 and RPI nothing. You're watching RPI Hockey on RPI TV.
Tonight's contestant from the second team, Money Machine Money Grab. They'll come it up. Whatever Bob Wink, Brad, Keats, and Seth Fury from Banks, donated to the Homeless Families Aid Society. Congratulations, thank you, Bob. And thank you to Seth Fury for sponsoring the Seth Fury Money Grab Money Machine.
Sounds like we're going to get it.
We invite you to visit the Engineers Pro Shop, located across from the concession stand behind Section 2. They offer sweatshirts and other apparel for men, women, and kids. You find hats, gloves, tumblers, and more. Stop by. Check out the Engineers Swag. And if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, contact Jolene Morris with the Brewer Morris team of Brilliant USA. Call her at 518-331-1579. With over 90 homes closed in 2016, why not let their expertise fool you? RPI men's hockey would like to thank G.E. Holmes, Seth, CDPHB, The Rock, Boucher and Clark Financial Group, Press Job, Axco Fence, Yankee Trails, Riverfront Pizza, Tri-City Reynolds, Dunkin' Donuts, Freeman Peterson Inc., Jolene Morris of Really USA, Ben and Jerry's, Warren W. Fame, Auto Tax, Bona Trade Center, Capital Region Orthopedics, C&S Companies, and Tri-City Valley Tax, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey.
We welcome you back inside Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the second period of action between the RPI Engineers and the UMass Lowell Riverhawks. Score after one period of play is Lowell 2 and RPI nothing. Before we get started with the second period, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for RPI TV and all of RPI TV's coverage of RPI athletics, which includes
Everything.
pretty much everything. Yeah, they get around.
Yeah, they've covered even covered a diving meet over at
very cool.
Robeson Pool. But yeah,
reminder that RPI TV is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to rpitv.org.
I think they have to be actually watching that.
They have to be broadcasting something to see. Yes. But,
yeah.
But you can also catch RPI men's hockey games streaming live on YouTube. Just check them out. YouTube.com/RPI TV.
RPI TV only tonight. Unfortunately, WRPI is off air, but of course, as a shot comes in and a save is made by Wall and the backhander by Lojegren. But of course, RPI TV covers simulcast every game anyway, so Tom and I are still here, just not on the radio.
21st century, we've got some good backups now in the new current year of 2017.
Some people's primary. Some folks still listen to the radio, and we apologize for the fact that we are not also on the air there. RPI trails UMass Lowell here on this beautiful HD feed from RPI TV. Here's a shot flipped on goal, still caroming, and finally it skips wide. It's kind of been more of a microcosm of the RPI season. Pucks just don't seem to be finding the net.
But that's why you shoot it, because you take shots and weird things like that can happen.
That one did not find the Lowell goal. Now Gambardella shoots it to center. Kept in, no, by Whiffen. Turned right back around, however, and shot into the zone by Smith. Played around to the far boards. Melanson now on the near side as Gambardella backhanded it right back this way. Shot coming, Mueller, tipped wide a goal. That one caught the stick of Edward, who was trying to redirect it on frame. Didn't do it. Now a centering pass right on in front. What a pad save by Perry. He absolutely robs Edward there. On a backdoor play, kind of kicked that right leg up, and he needed to, as it looked like Edward had the shot measured for just over pad height.
He's using his size to his advantage right there, as he made himself as large as he could from his stomach.
Played up the boards, given away. Melanson had it for a moment, but taken over by Campbell. Shoots it to the RPI line. Samek goes D to D. Now on for Melanson, who chips it in. Race for the puck. First one to it, Matthias Goranson. Around for Campbell to the far side. Another near steal there by the Engineers, but Campbell jumps back on it. Fed in the air off of Tyrannese. Reno tried to help it on further, but it's picked up by the Riverhawks, and they play it in. Near side boards. Wilson. That's Connor Wilson for Lowell. Back out to center, nearly given away to Bourbonnais. But again, turned right back in by Campbell. Here he comes. Stops at the hash marks, far wall. And now played in deep. Behind the net, stolen away on the centering pass by Wilson. And now Reno to center. That one chipped off the stick of Bourbonnais and right back into the RPI end. 17:44 to go in the second period. No goals so far here in the frame. 2-0 still is the UMass Lowell lead. Tipped into the Lowell end. It'll be corralled there by Michael Kapla, senior with the goal and 14 assists on the year. Carried on further now. Master into the zone. Shot by Zink after a little bit of a toe drag to create some room, and the pad save was made by Perry. Swatted out of the air. Looked like a high stick. No, we play on. It was touched by a Riverhawk anyway. In the corner now as Marin was hit. It'll be carried on towards the point. Penalty coming up here on the Engineers as Wall heads to the bench. Master now to the point. Zink. Gambardella, the sixth skater on. Fanning on the slap shot. There was Camrus, and we get a stoppage and a power play coming up for Lowell.
And the question here is going to be whether this penalty against Mears Moore, the sophomore out of Duluth, Minnesota, is going to be a 2-minute minor or a 5-minute major for hitting from behind.
Looks like 2.
They're getting a boarding call. It was kind of a hit from behind over by the Zamboni door, not the most sturdy of areas to hit anyone anyway, and the hit was definitely in the back. But Engineers lucking out, just a 2-minute call for boarding on Moore. So Lowell back on the power play. They're 1 for 1 so far with the man advantage. Let's see what they can do 5-on-4 here.
Fanning on a clearing attempt was Reno, and now a chance out in front, tipped on goal. Gambardella off the post and in. It's an easy power play goal and a 3-0 Lowell lead.
Let's get that puck bouncing right in front. Ends up on Gambardella's stick, and once again we saw Chase Perry kind of laid out on his stomach in a similar situation just a couple of minutes ago. Edward ended up putting the puck right into the pad, but Gambardella lifted that one right up and over, went in off the side of the post.
When you're hot, you're hot, and for Gambardella, it's his 3rd goal in 3 games dating back to the weekend. Lowell taking part in the Ledyard Classic up at Dartmouth, and they won the Classic. They beat Colgate 3-2, and the host Big Green 7-4.
So they're certainly becoming accustomed to being able to take down ECAC teams, and they have a pretty good start in this one here early in the second period, up 3 goals.
Tipped into the zone by Melanson. It'll be tracked down by Berisha. Flipped out to center. Riley will slam it right back in. And he takes a big hit from O'Neill, and Riley's slow to get up, and now we're going to get a touch up here. We should get a whistle. Oh, the whistle. Thank you. 16:20 left in the second period. Everyone waiting for the whistle. It never came, but a power play coming up for RPI as Will Riley was drilled by O'Neill along the bench in front of the bench area for RPI there.
Tougher for us to see that right in front of the bench there, but at least sounded very similar to the hit that Mears Moore had just laid over in the corner with the Zamboni door. Boarding the call on this one as well, and also just a 2-minute penalty for Colin O'Neill. So RPI going back on the power play. They are 0 for 1 so far this evening. And this is kind of an area where I think if you're the referees, you want to kind of make sure this one doesn't start getting out of hand with the physicality.
Played back to the blue line, backhand feed. Now a shot by Wilson, tipped just wide as Wall had to make the pad save. Now a hot pass to handle for Tyranese at the point, but he does a nice job to keep it in. Behind the net is Polino. Played to the far side, Tyranese in, takes the shot, it's blocked out to center. Comes off of Wilson. It'll be played there by Chase Perry. He has to use the goalie stick to play it to the far boards and given away. Shot coming and a glove save by Perry, who played it back out, but Connor Wilson jumped on it for the shorthanded chance, but Chase Perry was able to nab it there.
The official scoring for UMass Lowell on the 3rd goal of the game, a power play goal by Joe Gambardella, his 11th goal of the season. The assists going to senior Michael Kapla, his 15th assist of the year, and junior CJ Smith notching his 12th assist of the season.
Face off here in the RPI zone. 30 seconds into this man advantage. Shots are 16-9 Lowell. They lead 3-0. Now Liljegren went down awkwardly on top of the puck, has his stick tied up with Wilson there. And now Hayhurst back to his own zone, getting manhandled there by Master. Kicking along the boards is Nick Master, has a goal tonight. The first of 3 for the visitors. Hayhurst now behind the goal. Minute to go on the RPI power play. Hayhurst jams it off the wall for Riley, and now the Engineers finally able to move it to center. Here's Riley Bourbonnais, senior captain from Rochester. Walking it right in, shot and a save, gets the rebound, but it caroms to the far boards. Liljegren working it down low. From Stockholm, Sweden, now to the half wall. Up top for Riley. Far circle, settling a Bouncing puck is Prapavesis. Drops it back to Riley. Quick wrister coming. Save made. Rebound loose. And it's going to be covered there by Tyler Wall. Good pressure on the power play for the Engineers. Didn't quite get the rebound they were looking for. Bourbonnais was down there trying to find it, but Wall did a nice job to cover up.
Yeah, slightly making up for the fact that they just spent the last 45 seconds down in their own end. RPI finally able to move the puck after some sarcastic comments from the peanut gallery here on the Engineers looking like they were killing a penalty instead of trying to score on the power play.
Shot from the blue line by Wilson was tipped wide by Polino. Fed right back to the middle through everybody and all the way down from Patrick Polino. As Perry will stop it there. It'll be Jared Wilson, the junior from Calgary. 8 goals, 3 assists. Those 8 goals I mentioned earlier, the most by college hockey defensemen. As it'll be Polino behind the goal. Out of the box in a moment will be O'Neill. Puck comes fluttering to center, and he'll find it first. O'Neill with Gambardella with him. It's actually Gambardella to play. He skates behind the net. Good poke check by Wilson to work it free. And now he'll play. 5 aside with 14:09 to go in the second. 2-0. Indirect pass off the wall. Too far for everybody. And it will be no icing. They'll say Melanson beat it out. Up the wall, Goranson. Carrying on further. Camrus in. Sticked away over the top. And we get a stoppage. 13:53 on the clock. Second period. 1 goal here in the frame. A power play tally by Joe Gambardella, the senior alternate captain, with his 11th of the year. Makes it 3-0.
Well, the Engineers playing in their 22nd game of the season, and already with more than half of the game to go, they've given up 3 goals. This is the 20th time this season that they have given up 3 goals or more. The only 2 times that they didn't give up 3 goals, they won.
Trying to buck a trend here and come back as it's flipped in by Rodriguez. Played around to the wall. Trying to separate the puck from Wilson was Rodriguez, but it's out to center. Campbell on the move. Trying to step around Reno. Poked it away just enough to deny the centering pass, and now Jimmy DeVito. He gives it away to Collins. Gloved down for a moment by Reno, and jumping right back on it is Ryan Collins, the junior from Newton, Mass. Campbell once more. Gets run into by Reno, but works it down low for Collins. He'll cycle. Good work by this third unit, Wilson. And now Campbell, and a hand pass is called. Face-off coming outside the zone. Well, we're just about 7 minutes into the second period. Shots are 17-10 Lowell. RPI once again finds itself down by 3 here.
One other trend the Engineers looking to buck here near the midway point of the season is that in the last 4 games they've given up at least 5 goals in each of those games. So definitely a need to button up the defense considerably.
Stop doing that. Here's Whiffen. Leads the rush up ice. Brady Whiffen hands it off there for Prapavesis. He has some space. Given a penalty coming up here on Lowell. But an extra attacker on for the Engineers. Samek a drive, and that one tipped up into the netting. And we'll have another stoppage, another power play chance for the Engineers.
Nice drive by Samek there. We're going to get an opportunity to see an awful lot more of the freshman out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Didn't dress a lot early in the season, but with the injury problems that the Engineers are plagued with right now, this is certainly his opportunity, and that was a great rip for him with the extra attacker as the Engineers get ready to go back on the power play. 0 for 2 so far this evening. It is a tripping call that has been assessed against Ryan Lowen, the freshman out of Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania, draft selection of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Quick whistle after the opening draw to start the power play. Just 4 seconds in, we'll draw it up again. Patrick Polino to take the face-off here. For RPI up against McMaster for Lowell. So as Tom mentioned, the third power play try for the Engineers. They've been better as of late, almost 18% on the year. There's a face-off win cleanly back to Wilson. Off for Tyrannies. 4 forwards out there for RPI. Shot by Wilson, looking for the tip from Whiffen. And if he did get it, he didn't get enough of it as Wall was able to smother.
That's certainly something that has been overlooked. A lot of people are taking a look at the Engineers, are seeing that the 8-game road trip they were on, they were one win, 7 losses. It's been a rough season. The power play was pretty bad early in the year, especially when they were spending a lot of time here at the Fieldhouse. But over the course of that road trip, the power play did improve markedly, and that's something that RPI's got to build on going forward.
Long shot, almost 200 feet, skipped in on Perry, but he was able to make the save. And now Polino. He'll ring it in. Comes down at the far corner, toppling over on top of the puck was Whiffen. He's back on his feet, and a clearing effort all the way down from Gambardella. 12 minutes to go in the second period. Another minute 19 on the RPI power play. Poked into the zone by Wilson, who then loses it. Chip back to center. Melanson trying to track it down. Gambardella has it for the Riverhawks, and he'll turn it up ice. Shorthanded comes Gambardella. Stops at the blue line. And the Lowell club will just rag the puck a bit. Now they'll shoot it in. Up the wall. Tyranny's race for it. Hayhurst. Zink beats him to it. Now they tie up. Flip back to center. Prapavesis. No, it'll be Riley to play. Will Riley, the freshman from Toronto, former Nanaimo Clippers, playing in his 20th game. He has 6 assists. Pretty solid start for him. This freshman class will need to grow up in a hurry here. Trying to find, has had to, dealing with some of the, the losses that have mounted here for this RPI club. Here's Prapavesis. Outlet pass for Bourbonnais, trying to hand it off for Hayhurst. Hayhurst trying to jump into the slot. It was swatted away from him, but right to Riley. Riley walking in, takes a look around the net, and he lost the handle, and it'll be cleared out by Lowell. That was Tyler Mueller who shoots it all the way down. 9 seconds to go in the power play. Almost there for Riley, who drew the netminder out of the cage, but couldn't get the shot away or the pass. Now a shot from the Wall. Easy stop for Wall. As it's fed ahead, and now Lowen walking in over the top of that, had to wave at the blue line. He had no momentum going forward. It allowed Reno to catch up just a bit, just enough to really make that not a breakaway chance. Now here's Mueller again, trying to feed it down low, intercepted by Reno, chips to center. Nearing the halfway point of the second period, it'll be Goranson for Lowell. Up ahead, Lowen can't gather. Mears Moore, fanned on the clearing effort, gets it right back. Second effort, no, as Lowen keeps it alive again. Down low, Camrus. They tie up in front of the Zamboni door. Scrapping away, it's played to the near wall. Pinching in is Forney. Centering pass out in front, and a try there for Camrus. Then he's dumped by DeVito. Pass off DeVito's skate, picked up by Master. He'll turn it back into the circle. Fed in front, Master on it again, and he'll pull it back out. Master, a wrister, and a pad save by Perry. Forney again up the wall. Plays it behind the cage, too hot to handle for Camrus. Forney back to the point, couldn't gather there. He kicks it out to center. He'll have to track it down with Nanny chasing. Nanny gives him a bit of a spear to the gut with his stick as we play on. Forney again. Carrying to center, hands it off there. Into the zone, Master. Thought about a drop pass, keeps on going. Blocker saved by Perry. Now Orval will jump on a loose puck. 9:10 to go in the second. 1 goal here in the frame. It was a power play tally by Joe Gambardella. That's been it so far. A 3-0 Lowell lead. This one kicked into the zone by Melanson and covered up by Wall. Exactly 9 minutes on the clock in the period.
Nick Masters doing a great job of working the puck in the attacking zone. He's got 1 goal here this evening already. He looked ready to be able to score another one right there. Just, it's not so much that RPI is not pressuring him at all. He's just managing the pressure real well, and he's stick handling the puck in a way that's helping Lowell keep possession in the attacking zone and frustrating the RPI defense tonight.
To the Engineers' credit this year, the woes they've had, they've only been shut out twice. One coming against Ohio State on November 18th, and then they were shut out by New Hampshire 5-0 on the road. But in a number of these games that they've lost, they've been able to put a few goals on the board. Of course, not on Friday. They only scored 1 against Harvard, number 4 Harvard. But other than that, they were in a game against Brown, 3-3 after 2. They scored 3 against Yale in kind of a throwaway game. And in the Princeton game, obviously, before that, they led at a sizable lead 4-1 in that game. So scoring really hasn't been the problem.
It can seem bizarre for a team that has been used to having extremely strong goaltending these last several years. I mean, for much of the last decade, you had Alan York basically leading into Jason Kasdorf. And when one of those two guys was in there, 3 goals was usually enough to get you a win if you're RPI. You look at RPI's last 4 contests, they've scored 3 or more goals in 3 out of those 4 games. They had 5 against Princeton and skated off with a loss. That almost never happens. You score 5 goals, typically you're going to win. In fact, that's the first time RPI has scored 5 goals in a game and not skated off with a victory since 2001, which was 16 years ago now.
Played up the wall as a hit by Wilson that separated the puck from Marin, and now it's back out to center. Tie up at the blue line, carried on further by Campbell. Walking right in, and a save made by Perry on the left pad, and now the net comes off. I believe the faceoff will stay in the zone. I think either Wilson or Riley was the one who knocked it off. And that is the case. They're not allowing the Engineers to change. 8:32 on the clock. It was a good move by Evan Campbell. You can see why he's a NHL draft choice. 6'3", 205, and has great hands. He's great on the puck. You see him just drive right to the net and get that chance there.
He's part of this Lowell squad. He's a senior, and he's seen some very, very good times for the Riverhawks in the last few years. And really, ever since Norm Bazin took over at Lowell, things have been really, really strong at the. They used to call it the Songus Arena. I'm not sure.
I believe it still is. Yeah.
But they've been very strong ever since Basin's been there, and this senior class has been a big part of that.
There's a good feed ahead. Bourbonnais walking in, breakaway. Fenn on the shot in the end. Didn't even get the shot away. Back out to center they come. Great speed shown there. Quickness by Bourbonnais to just jump ahead of everybody. There's a good outlet pass as well that found him. But in the end, Fanning on the shot. He's had a number of breakaways this year. He probably could have 12, 13 goals this year. He is still the team leader with 9. But seems like he could have a good number more. That's just a tough one there for RPI once more.
In a game like this, you got to bury those.
Absolutely. Engineers have had a couple of great scoring chances here. Fed back to the point. Forney, slap shot coming. That one's blocked by Melanson. Something the Engineers do very well. Block shots. There's a feed out in front and a save by Perry. Fought it off on the try by Hausinger. Very similar to Hausinger's goal earlier. A chance right between the circles. Now Forney takes a hit but gets the puck away. Carried along by Goranson. In deep it goes. Take a funny hop off of the Zamboni opening. And now Morello plays it back for Moore, who was being pestered there. RPI doing a great job of blocking shots again this year. They're in the top 5 in the country overall. Their forwards are second most, have the second most block shots among forwards, forward groupings in college hockey. And they continue to do a job there, getting in front of pucks as Hayhurst will carry in. Takes a shot that goes wide. Rodriguez kind of lost sight of it there as it's played back out to center. Flipped back in by Wilson, who takes a hit along the far boards. Picked up by Zink. Trying for the long outlet pass, and they find him. Walking right in, Cameras shoots and scores. Jake Cameras, the junior from Atlanta, Georgia, with his seventh goal of the year. That makes it 4-0. It was a great outlet pass. It was goal line extended to the RPI blue line. Beat Wilson in on goal and took the shot that beats Perry glove side.
That one you just have to tip your cap on, because those kinds of passes are hard to complete. That was a pass that was coming from deep in the Lowell end and managed to catch Cameras on the move right at the blue line heading into the zone. Got past Wilson. You really can't blame Wilson for trying to essentially get in the way of the pass first, but got through him, connected. And from there, it was just Cameras versus Chase Perry. Cameras was the one who was able to bury it, junior out of Atlanta, Georgia, picking up his 7th goal of the season.
Collins had it knocked away by Moore, but Moore lost his stick. Now Collins is wide open in front, but the pass kind of bounced on him and wasn't able to even get to him. And now Hayhurst hands it off for Morello, trying to chip it up the boards. It was swallowed up by Goranson, and he'll just play it back. It'll be played into the RPI end. Picked up there by Mears Moore. Reno. Polino. Takes a look up ice, feeds it ahead. Orval into the zone. Spins away from a check, trying to play it up the wall. It was poked free. Still can't find it. It is out to center eventually. Carried on further by Collins. He'll just dump it in. Prapavesa is back to pick it up for RPI. 5.5 to go in the second. High in the air to center. Glove down there by Berisha. And now fed far side by Orval, but nobody home. Gambardella back to pick it up. Forney up the near boards past Edward and everybody. It'll be gathered by Prapavesas and played by Samick up the boards. Liljegren back for TJ Samick. And the Engineers will try the far side. Near side for Liljegren. Into the zone, turn right back around by O'Neill. Good back check by Whiffen to break it up. Back comes Lunani for RPI. Stops at the hash marks. Nanny. Fed across. Wilson or wrister. That one caroms off the end wall. Riley jumping into the play. Tried to throw it off the wall to himself. It was intercepted by Zink. His outlet pass pops high in the air. Liljegren finds the loose puck. Wraparound try. Gets it right back, and he scores! A fortuitous bounce. Liljegren tried the wraparound. It hit a skate in front. Came right back to him. Wall had no idea where it was. And Victor Liljegren picks up his 4th goal of the year. He has been hot of late. He didn't score against Harvard, but before that he had 5 points in 3 games, and he jumps back on the score sheet here.
And that's why you take your shots, because you just never know what's going to happen in front. Sometimes you just got to create that confusion where the puck is, where it's coming down. Ended up back on Liljegren's stick, and he was able to put it top shelf past Wall before the freshman out of Leamington, Ontario was able to ascertain exactly what had happened on that wraparound chance. So Engineers won't be shut out here tonight, and they still have another 4:20 in the second period and the third period to continue to try to do what they need to be doing in order to be successful later this season. I don't want to say that this is a game that I think they can really pull themselves back into, but they really just need to keep doing the things that they need to work on in order to be successful in ECAC play, which comes back next week.
Here is Evan Tierney's turning around at his own blue line. Scoops into the corner. Here's Mueller shooting far side, too far for everybody. This is icing on Lowell.
So the official scoring on the goal by UMass Lowell at 13:32 of the second period, an even strength goal, made it 4-0. Jake Camaras taking the excellent outlet pass from deep in the Lowell zone by defenseman Dylan Zink. Zink's 13th assist of the season to make it 4-0. And the official scoring for RPI, 15:30 of the second period, Victor Liljegren scoring his 4th goal of the season, and the assists upcoming.
O'Reilly had one of them. I know that. As the shot comes in from center, he's got a glove down by Wall, but he didn't hold it. Got some help from a teammate there to move it out to center. Wilson, too far for Campbell. Rodriguez turns it around for RPI, the sophomore out of Miami, Florida. Rodriguez in, driving behind the net, looking to center for DeVito. He jams at it and put it just wide. Prapavesis now pinching up the wall. Turns with it along the boards. Nifty move to get free. Still Prapavesis. Down low DeVito trying to walk it out in front. He fed it across the top of the crease, but nobody was home to poke it in. And now here comes Campbell on a breakaway. Walking right in, Campbell, and he missed the net. Perry might have gotten a piece of it with the glove. And if he did, it was just enough to push that shot wide. Back comes Samick for RPI. Into the attacking end. He fires one on goal, and the easy blocker stop for Wall. Off the glass out to center. Edward on the move. Overtaken by Reno in the corner. They go hard into the end wall. And now a centering pass intercepted by Orval. He'll skate the other way. Patrick Paulino. Far side connection. Into the zone. Tierney's pass behind everybody. It's intercepted by C.J. Smith, who's back the other way. 3-on-2 as they hit the line. Broken up nicely by Moore. Trying to find it there. He'll feed it along for Paulino. 3-on-2 for RPI now. Walking in Paulino, a wrister, pad save. Rebound put wide there by Orval.
All kinds of pep for the Engineers now, and that's exactly what they need.
Zink shoots it off the glass to center. Bouncing puck caroms away from Lowen. Gathered now by Wilson. Under 2 to go in the second. 4-1 Lowell leads. Played behind the cage. Here's Kapla. Forecheck pressure applied by Liljegren. Forces a turnover. Riley trying to find a loose puck. Played up the far side and in deep. Kapla, near side wall, kicked at by Nanny to keep it alive. Liljegren tied up there. Lowell trying to force it out of the zone, and we get a touch and an offside against the Engineers. Must have just come in and out. 1:23 left in the second. 4-1 Lowell. RPI is on the board, however, as Victor Liljegren, the junior from Stockholm, Sweden, has his 4th of the season.
The lone assist on that goal going to Will Riley, his 7th assist, not the 11th as it says on the box score, but 7 assists for the freshman out of Toronto, Ontario. And his move to Liljegren has the Engineers on the board.
He took that shot from the point that was picked up behind the goal by Liljegren, and then have a do-it-yourselfer in the end for Victor Liljegren. Forney now. Shot from a tight angle. It'll be picked up on the far side of the net. Reno towards the point and out to center. Gathered there by Berisha. Avni Berisha for Lowell, shoot it in. Rolling puck will go behind the cage. 40 seconds to go in the period. Liljegren knocked down by Campbell, gets back on the puck, however, and shovels it out to center. Shot back in by Connor Wilson, left behind the cage by Perry. Some quick pressure comes, and the Engineers need to act quickly, and they do. Out to center. Melanson tried to play it across, poked free by Tierney. 18 seconds to go. Chopped to center. Riley across for Wilson. A couple Engineers need a touch up. They do. Slammed in with 11 to go in the period. Melanson trying to drop it back, and it's kicked out to center. Wilson will pick it up there. That's Jared Wilson for RPI with 4, 3, 2, and 1. That'll do it for the second period. Shots overall 28-17 after 2. RPI on the board, but what they call them, the Lowell Spinners. the Riverhawks with a couple of goals in the period as well.
I don't mean to sound defeatist when I say that RPI needs to focus on doing what they need to do in order to be successful in the future. It's just that when you look at the complexion of this game, even coming into this contest, you had Lowell is one of the best teams in the country. They're ranked 6th overall. They're outstanding. They just came off of a weekend where they won a tournament out at Dartmouth. They are easily one of the best out there. They are a strong contender to be playing hockey in April in Chicago at the Frozen Four. They're just very, very good. And on the other side of the ledger, RPI's basically got home ice advantage, and that's more or less it when you look at what these two teams have done this season. So when I say that RPI really just needs to focus on being more successful in this game to be more successful in the future, you have to look at it from the perspective of ultimately RPI is not in a position to be shooting for an NCAA berth outside of winning the ECACs. So a game like this has to be a stepping stone to something else. When you look at the fact that after that goal by Liljegren, they're still down by 3, they only have 1 period left. What they need to be doing is focusing less on what the final outcome of this game is and more on how they can tailor their game to be successful in the future. And I think late in that second period, we started to see a little bit more of that energy, some spring, some good shots, some good opportunities from the Engineers that will be good for them going forward. And if they can build upon that in the third period, they can really kind of push themselves off so they get ready to take on Clarkson in a non-conference game on Saturday.
Yeah, more, I guess you could say, not really tune-ups. We're halfway through the season, but trying to figure some things out. I know Coach Appert talked about before they went to play Harvard. They found some combinations that, in theory, they think will be successful going forward. Those things don't always click right away. In fact, they normally don't. But if they can find these combinations that can work for the rest of the year, and maybe they've found something. A few of these obviously have to go back and reevaluate after this game and after the Clarkson game this coming Saturday with how these groupings are working, and really if they can find anything going forward to come out of that.
I think it's just Seth Everett being realistic. Where RPI is overall, where they are in the ECAC, where they're currently occupying last place by themselves. They have to get themselves in a position that when the chips are down in late February, early March, when it will matter, where they have the opportunity that if they can turn things around, that it will matter, that they're ready to go. This is an important first step coming back home, playing a tough team. If they do things the right way here, they can start doing the right things in league once league play begins, and that's really got to be the focus, not just of this game, but also the game this coming weekend. We'll step aside and we'll come back later on with the third period. Score after 2 periods of play is Lowell 4 and RPI 1. You are watching RPI Hockey on RPI TV.
The Recovery Sports Club, E. Stewart, Jones, Hacker, and Murphy, Stanley Steamer, Stewart's Shops, BSN Sports, Rensselaer Honda, Fryhoffers, Saratoga Eagles Sales and Services, and Wilkes Beer Garden, Detroit, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey.
just an opportunity something right now, but maybe in the future, like worrying about it. Yes. No,
For next season, we'll probably do it.
Yes. Right. Well, let us know. We can help spec it up.
Yeah, going forward, we actually have to.
Please welcome your engineers.
Working is in the Mikado on the station end. So they are only doing commentary for us. You can switch over to them now. They only have comments. And they'll put on their.
Welcome to Rensselaer and Houston Fieldhouse for tonight's non-league matchup between the Riverhawks of the University of Massachusetts, Lowell, and your homesteading engineers of Rensselaer. And now let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, the visitors from UMass Lowell, starting in the goal, number 33, Tyler Wall. On the fence, number 25, Dylan Singh. And number 3, Michael Patton. The starting forward line for UMass Lowell, number 9, Nasser. Number 23 is Nick Merritt. And at right lane, number 21, Jake Campbell. The rest of the UMass Lowell Riverhawks, their head coach is Norm Basin.
We're gonna go out to break. It's like we back in the second period.
And now let's meet tonight's starting lineup for the engineers of RPI. Leading your engineers on the ice, please welcome the junior engineer Michael Bailey. And starting in the goal for the engineers, the sophomore from Andover, Minnesota, number 35, Chase. And left defense, a sophomore from Duluth, Minnesota, number 9, here's Moore. And right defense, he's a junior from Oakville, Ontario, number 19, Mike Brabazis. Starting forward for the engineers, and left wing a junior from Edina, Minnesota, number 23, Lou Nanny. At center for the engineers, a sophomore from St. Mary's, Ontario, number 21, Brady Whitman. And at the right wing, the junior from Stockholm, Sweden, number 12, Victor Hildebrand. The rest of your engineers, the head coaches, Seth Appleton, assistant coaches, Mike Lyons, and Nolan Grant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise as Mr. Rafi Topalian, the singing jeweler and top custom jewelers, will sing the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America.
Oh, Canada, my home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command.
Hudson Mohawk figure skating.
You know, it's so wonderful, delicious hot chocolate comes from a place you don't know. Dairy products, coffee, and across the favorite box. That's bad. Thank you. I know, favorite hot chocolate, and I need you.
Hudson Mohawk Figure Skating Club is in its 65th year of offering learn to skate classes here at the Fieldhouse on Saturday mornings. Classes are for all ages. For more information, check out the program at hmfsc.org. RPI Women's Hockey plays at Brown this Friday, January 6th, 6 o'clock. Come on out, support the women's hockey team. Winning ticket tonight's 50-50 drawing, ticket number 537. 3176 537 3176. You're the winner of $43. Championship
Tiffin Lake Plaza, March 17th and 18th at historic Herb Brooks Arena. Tickets are available in the box office. Or call 518-523-3330 or visit whitefacelakeplasza.com and get your tickets to the 2017 CAC Men's Hockey Championship.
I put some other guy.
We welcome you back here at Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the third period of action between the RPI Engineers and the UMass Lowell Riverhawks. Your score, as you can see right there on the screen, is UMass Lowell 4 and RPI 1. Before we get started with the third period, we would like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for RPI TV and all of the club-related activity of the Institute, including RPI TV's coverage of a wide swath of RPI athletics, to include RPI men's hockey, RPI women's hockey, RPI football, RPI baseball, RPI basketball, RPI lacrosse. I think if I leave anything out, I'm sure Perry will help me out. He mentioned that they covered a diving meet last year, I believe, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Regardless, excellent work done by RPI TV. If you want to check them out online, check them out at rpitv.org, or you can see them streaming. You can also see some of their back catalog from their YouTube collection. That is at youtube.com/rpitv.
And yeah, you're definitely watching that now. Third period underway. It's UMass Lowell and RPI. 3-goal lead for the Riverhawks, who are wearing blue. Engineers in white and red. It's a good outlet pass, and right comes Campbell, a drive, and he ripped it high and wide. Karams all the way out to center. Victor Lodrigan picks it up and plays it on for Nanny. Lou Nanny skating in, trying to work it around, gets it back. Lou Nanny to the point for Prapavesis. Right back to Nanny, fanned on the cross-ice feed, but stays on the puck. Nanny down low for Lodrigan, the RPI goal scorer. Whacked away from him by Wilson, and they're out to center. Campbell softly up the wall. Race for the puck. Mears Moore trying to track it down. Takes a good angle on Collins, but Collins knocks him down. Picked up there by C.J. Smith. He's hooked just a bit, but apparently not enough for a penalty as we play on. Not a lot of penalties in this game overall, as Smith works it far side. Drop pass. 5 in total, says Tom. There's a shot from the blue line by Goranson, easily held by Chase Perry.
You know, they say speed kills, but honestly, if you can pass the puck and stick handle the way that UMass Lowell has done it in this game, it's going to kill you even faster, because you can move the puck a lot faster when you pass it than you can just moving it down ice. And we've seen some really good outlet passes in this game from the Riverhawks. We saw another one just kick off this third period, moved into the zone real well, and just creating opportunities, creating odd man rushes well, just by being able to zip that puck in and complete long passes.
There's a quick shot off the draw by Cameras, but I don't think it would have counted. They're going to draw it up again. Face-off win. There's not a lot of folks here tonight. You can hear most of them, probably. The shot all the way down the ice. Riley Bourbonnais, quick to the puck, jumps on it there behind the goal. Centering pass right on in front, and denied was Tierney's by Wall. Great play by Riley Bourbonnais as he sets up Evan Tierney's, but a right pad stop was made by the freshman Wall.
That's textbook. That's how you do centering passes from behind the net, because that one-timer by Tierney's ended up having to be more or less just a reflex save by Wall. He was in the right place at the right time and was able to get himself in front of that puck just based on really where he was.
Will Riley can't find the puck off the face-off. It's pried away from him by Edward all the way down. Thought about covering was Perry, but he likes to just paddle it away. Work to center. Stick handling Melanson. He'll backtrack into his zone just a bit. Played near side, tipped in by Bourbonnais. Left behind the goal by Wall. Intercepted Melanson. Walking right in. A save made by Wall. It was kind of his own undoing there for Tyler Wall. He kind of gave it away at the boards, but he denies Melanson. Back comes Lowell. Through the middle. Nobody home. Tierney's fakes a slapper up ice and plays it behind. Now Semick. Fed across. Polino touches it off for Tierney's. Into the zone they come. Shot and a glove save there by Wall. Some spunk here from the Engineers. They're playing with a little bit more their pace, and they're getting some chances early on in this third period.
And they're also kind of playing like they don't have much to lose, and that's really the way to approach this from an esoteric level. I mean, they're down by 3, they're losing. Might as well take some chances, try to make something happen, try to create, and as I've been saying, just try to do what it takes to win games going forward.
Oh boy, is that they call icing there? Looked like Ryan Lowen was the first one down the ice. I was going to say, good stretch pass. It just missed Lowen. I thought he was ahead of the RPI skater, but no. They'll whistle this one for icing on the Riverhawks.
Shots on goal in this one, 30-20 in favor of Lowell. RPI's magic number, the one that they want to try to get to on a regular basis, is 35, so they're certainly behind that count. But yeah, like I've said, you got to credit Lowell and their defense a lot to that. They've done very well.
O'Neill behind the net. Didn't really have a whole lot to work with. Stolen away by Moore, who plays it along for Polino. Polino just gives it right back to O'Neill, who fires it back into the RPI end. Mears Moore at the corner, kicking at it. Ryan Lowen comes to try and work it out of there, as does Hausinger. Played around to the point, or it's corralled by Goranson, who backhands it right back in. Now Goranson again at the point. Swept down low past everybody. Pinching in on the other side is Mueller. Shot from a tight angle, saved by Perry, and the Engineers pick it up. Orval lofting it to center. Polino trying to jump on the home run ball. Polino in, pad save made, and the rebound cleared to the corner. Good look ahead pass there by Jesper Orval. Just laid it out for Polino to skate onto. But a good job cutting down the angle by Wall. He knew Polino didn't have a pass there, and was able to come way out of the net to make the save. Bouncing puck far side of the RPI zone. Kicked along, kept in, loose in the slot, turning with it Campbell, spun and fanned on it completely. And Campbell gets it right back, and he'll flip it in deep. Collins in the corner, hands it off there for Zink, who's well into the attacking zone. Drops it back, intercepted by Jesper Orval. And he, at the end of a shift, will drop it off. Engineers are way offside. That was Will Riley, the defenseman, ahead of the play. 16-13 on the clock in the third period. Still 4-1 Lowell.
Riley certainly one of those defensemen that likes to mix it up offensively. In fact, he had the lone assist on the goal by Liljegren off of a big shot he took from the point. I believe he was behind the net feeding Evan Tierney's on that opportunity the Engineers had a little bit earlier in this period. So Will Riley, kind of like Mike Prapaves, is willing to go pretty much anywhere and everywhere all over the ice to try to make things happen in the attacking zone.
Well, the face-off here is it was Jimmy DeVito, kind of just one-handed the puck towards the net. But Tyler Wall was there, and he covered it up after slowing it down with the paddle of the stick. Face-off win defensively for Lowell. They'll send that man right up ice, and it's Edward this time. They've caught the Engineers a couple of times on those long passes down the middle of the ice. That time, RPI defends it a little bit better as Berisha's back to his own zone. Fed far side, bouncing puck, chopped at by Liljegren. It'll be gathered there by Forney. Turning away from Victor Liljegren, he'll go behind the net, try to use it as a screen. He gave it away down the middle, intercepted by Whiffen. Shot in by Reno. Chris Forney once more, the junior from Thief River Falls, Minnesota. We'll hand it off there for Edward, but he gave it away, and it was Nanny with the shot that missed high and wide. Another giveaway, right back to Nanny. At the half wall, he's double teamed. Edward with him, along with Gambardella. Pop free to the point. Moore across. Prapavesis now makes a move to get away from Camrus. Now back up top for Moore. Thought about a shot. A lot of congestion again in front of the net. Not a lot to shoot at. Tipped, looking for the tip from Whiffen. He backhands it off the base of the cage. It's picked up by Liljegren. Good sustained pressure from RPI. Back to Prapavesis. Still Prapavesis. Tried to hand it off, and a little bit too deliberate there. Allows UMass Lowell to head back the other way. Camrus now drops it off for the third man in. Back end to the far side. One-timer. That's good team hockey there. A 5-1 lead as Master drew the attention of Perry across. It was an easy tap-in. I believe that was Edward who finished it off in the end.
And Mike Prapavesis did a good job of getting back after that turnover along the blue line, but he needed to play the puck more than the man, and after taking his man out towards the far boards, the puck was essentially left free for the Riverhawks to scoop up, and they were completing a line change, which meant guys were coming into the zone with some speed. And ultimately, it ended up getting behind the rest of the RPI defense, and it was a pretty easy goal. I do believe that was Edward tapping that one in, making it 5-1 Lowell.
Shot all the way down. This will be icing on the Engineers.
Low goal was scored by number 29, John.
To some extent, you really just have to look at that and say Lowell executes well. They turned on that, not quite a turnover, just it was something that the forwards were able to create by kind of jamming up the works and giving Prapavessis no space to operate with the puck. And from there, things just developed quickly. They got the puck down ice quickly.
Quick shot off the draw. It came off the stick of Goranson, and a left pad save was made by Chase Perry. The Engineers ice it again. 14:20 on the clock. Clock's still running. I guess we're playing running time here in the third. They should probably end up stopping that
clock. Yeah.
I was not being serious. 33-22 are the shots.
I recall seeing some high school games in Minnesota where the score got high enough they did kind of go to a running clock, but I think 4 was not the limit. They needed to.
No, certainly. In women's lacrosse,
higher.
I believe in women's lacrosse it's 12, but we're not near that at all. They should put another. Well,
several seconds. That was probably still a little bit low.
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
Belabor the point.
I think it was 14:20, but they'll put 14:16.
It's all good.
If the Engineers end up needing those 4 seconds. It would be very exciting final 14 minutes of this game. Played to the far corner. Morello behind. All the way around. It's corralled there by Kapla. Tipped on goal in front. That was Collins. He'll jump on it there behind the cage. Collins wrapped up and taken down by Wilson. Bourbonnais trying to clear. Now he takes his man down. Penalty coming up here. It's going to go on the Engineers as Connor Wilson was upended in the circle. Looked like the Engineers might have gotten away with the penalty but a moment earlier, and then Wilson was corralled or hauled down by Riley Bourbonnais, and that'll be a power play for Lowell. Their third of the game, 2 for 2 thus far.
And you can't get any better than that.
No.
Or at least my mathematics tell me so. Tripping the call. And we'll see the Lowell power play unit right back out there. Gambardella to take this draw. He's been real strong in this game to include power play goal.
Shot all the way down on the netminder wall. Kapla drops it off at neutral ice. Carried in. Smith. Poked away by Whiffen, and a clear by Mears Moore. It'll be Wall to leave it once more for Michael Kapla. Stretch pass for Gambardella. It will be icing on Lowell here as they continue to try that long pass. They've connected on it a few times. It's, in fact, turned into at least 1 goal. They were able to catch RPI there, but that time Gambardella couldn't reach to grab that one.
Yeah, given the length of some of the passes that have been connecting, the law of averages would suggest that Lowell would probably ice the puck at some point. I think that's probably the first one they've had on those long passes, though. They've been very, very impressive moving the puck quickly by those long headman passes, and almost all of them have been connecting tonight.
Lowell with some nifty passing in its own zone just to get away from the 1-4 checker. Melanson, and now Melanson finds a loose puck in the neutral zone and fires it down. Kapla back to pick it up once more for Lowell. Leaves it for Dylan Zink, the senior from Madison, Wisconsin. He has an assist tonight, his 13th of the year. Now a feed across for Forney. Master down low. For one of the goal scorers, Hausinger. 5 different Riverhawks have found the score sheet this evening on a rather warm Tuesday here in Troy. Fed up the board, stopping with it is Campbell at the half wall. Into the middle, good find, it's Master looking for the top left corner. That one took a deflection and into the netting it went. I'm not sure if that caught Perry or not. It was a good looking shot from Master, who was looking for his second. He opened the scoring way back in the first, 8:28 of the opening frame. Looking for his second of the game and would have been his third of the year. He has looked solid here in this one.
The official scoring for UMass Lowell's 5th goal of the contest, 5:19 of the third period, even strength goal. John Edward, the medium for that one, his 9th of the season. The assists going to Nick Master and Jake Camras. So that's the second point of the night for each of those 2 individuals.
Face-off win for the Engineers. Fed back behind for Prapavesis. He will gather behind the goal, turn and fire it off of Campbell's glove to center. Good thing he turned his head around in time, or that might have caught him in the mask. 8 minutes into the third period. 5-1 is the Lowell lead. Chipped in by the Riverhawks into the corner. Whiffen ties his man up. That being Hausinger in the corner. Back to the point for Zink. To the near circle for Campbell, who feeds it down low. Penalty about to expire. The Engineers kill off the penalty. 2 for 3 now is Lowell on the man advantage. Centering pass was broken up by the stick of Whiffen. As it caroms around to the corner. Dug out of the scrum by Hayhurst, and he'll speed it up ice. Jacob Hayhurst on the move. Into the zone, stops at the circle. Wrist shot coming, shoulder saved by Wall. Caroms to the near side. Back to the point, Wilson thought about a shot. Tried to play it back down low, it's intercepted. And Master will clear to center. Back checking there nicely was Hayhurst. Fed off the near wall, tipped in by Orval, now Zink. A little bit of pressure comes from the Engineers, fed far side. Into the zone. Camrus looking to center, broken up by Orval. Back comes Polino. Too far out in front of Riley. It'll be gathered there and shot off the near glass by Mueller. Spinning puck at center, gathered by Will Riley. Picked up his 7th assist of the year on the lone RPI tally in this one. Tipped into the zone by Orval to negate the icing. Orval in the corner. Spins away from a check, looking to center. He's knocked down. Gathered there by Lowen. Behind the Lowell net it goes. Tipped on further by O'Neill. Now Mueller. Played behind for Berisha, and out to the far side. Lowell looks like it has some space and time to move to center. They'll shoot it in. 10:26 to go in the third. A 5-1 lead for the visitors here, the number 6 team in the country. UMass Lowell coming off of a pair of wins over ECAC hockey foes in the Ledyard Classic in Hanover, New Hampshire, beating Colgate 3-2 and Dartmouth 7-4. It'll be the Engineers freshman TJ Samick behind his own goal, gave it away up the wall. Oh no, he did get it to center. Tyranese, far side, Bourbonnais a wrister, and seeing it all the way and gloving it was Tyler Wall. He'll hold on for the faceoff.
So for the 5th consecutive game, the Engineers have given up 5 goals or more. And it's certainly not a stat that you'd like to see, and it's something that we have seen in the recent past as well, as the last time RPI gave up 5 or more goals in 5 straight games was just 2 seasons ago. 5 games in a row from November 29th through December 30th, 2014 was also a rough patch for the Engineers on defense, but Perry, as you mentioned earlier this evening, RPI was able to bounce back late in that season. They weren't able to pull themselves out of the bottom 4, but they did manage to secure a playoff series victory against Clarkson that year, and ended up in a pretty solid duel with St. Lawrence the weekend after. So we've seen these depths of struggles from RPI in the recent past, but certainly no death sentence for this team by any stretch of the imagination, if they can manage to kind of take their licks and learn from them and move on in the right direction.
Face-off coming here in the Lowell zone. We're skating 5-a-side with a little under 10 to go in the third. Touch pass on to center comes Campbell, poked away from him by Moore, who then gives him a little bit of an extra whack. That puck is in the stands. Watch out. And we get a whistle here. Obviously, we'll need a new puck. Engineers in action on Saturday against Clarkson up in Lake Placid at the 1980 rink, Herb Brooks Arena.
Clarkson, another team that's reeling just a little bit. I don't recall exactly what the final score was last weekend against Northeastern, but they got rocked in that one. Really worse than RPI. Was more or less manhandled by Harvard. So a couple of teams that they're going to be coming off some pretty rough outings. RPI 2 to start their second half of the season, and Clarkson had just that one game at Northeastern. So we'll have to see which of those teams can bounce back. Obviously, for RPI at least, the way Clarkson has been playing, the Golden Knights might be just a slight touch of an easier competition than Harvard or Lowell has proven to be.
Centering attempt by Rodriguez was blocked by a shin pad. DeVito chopping at it to the corner, where Morello had it for a moment. Rodriguez again trying to step through the puck. Morello backhands it up the boards. Nobody home. They'll allow Lowell to move to center. Here's Collins. Into the zone. He'll backhand it off the half boards and in deep. Played around to the far side. Collins the first one to it. Shoots it down low. Taking a bump there was Master. Master's centering pass right on in front. Shot by Mueller. Deflects off an RPI stick and goes just wide. Now Master again to the point. Shot back in by Goranson. Gathered there. Poked in the air. Not a play. Into the RPI bench, in fact. We'll have another stoppage.
Worth noting, this is RPI's final game of the 2016-2017 season against non-ECAC.
Right. It's a little bit confusing.
They do have two additional non-conference games, one of which being the game in Lake Placid on Saturday against Clarkson. They also have the Mayor's Cup game at the Times Union Center against
a couple of rivalry
Union,
games. Yeah.
But neither of those counted for the ECAC part of the schedule.
There's a puck trickling into Lowell territory. Kapla. Tierney's trying to find it. It's tipped out to center. Gathered there is Wilson. Melanson. Off for Riley, in on goal. Sticked away by Wald. Keeping play moving. Nearly given away. Behind the goal, but Zink will track it down again. His initial pass hit a leg. Could have gone anywhere. But luckily for Lowell, not to one of the engineers waiting in front of the net. Here's Melanson across. Bourbonnais. He'll carry in. Trying a little drop pass from Tierney. He'll take a shot. That one caught Zink up high, but he made the block. And he does find it and neatly lobs it out to center. Good play by Dylan Zink. And now Tierney's on for Bourbonnais. Tight angle shot in the shoulder save. Pinned against that chest protector. As Tyler Wall has been solid. The few times that he has let a rebound or two get away, he's had the help of his defenseman to clear the puck out of danger.
That's just part of Lowell being a good overall team. They can score goals. They can keep the puck out of the net. That's why they're the 6th-ranked team in the country. That's why they are definitely a solid threat for the national championship this year. We really have to give them a lot of credit. We've seen here tonight that kind of good team defense. We've seen the way that they move the puck, helping power that offense.
Puck in the corner between the legs of Nanny, who lost his stick on the challenge with Berisha. Still kicking at it, still doesn't have his stick. Now his stick plays a part in that puck not leaving the zone. Now a kick in front, shot by Whiffen and a save by Wall. And you can credit Lou Nanny and his loose stick with generating that chance. Now puck on the far side boards. In the RPI end, Mears Moore gets taken down but does work it along. Liljegren skating with it to center ice. Tries to make a move on Mueller. Goes down in the corner, puck still alive with Whiffen. Whiffen in the corner, dueling with Mueller. 6:45 to play in the third period. Liljegren runs into Goranson, but it's Mueller who comes away with it for Lowell. Turns back towards his own end. Penalty coming up here on RPI. Extra skater out. Here comes Gambardella. Centering pass intercepted by Orval, and that'll get the whistle and the call coming up. It'll be the 4th power play for Lowell. They're 2 for 3. With 6:29 left in the third. Shots are 34-27, so the Engineers have tightened up that department in this one, but the difference in the game is still 4.
Good heads-up play by Orval to grab that, because that puck was on its way to Kenny Hausinger, and we've seen that play in the recent past. In fact, the last Lowell goal was generated by a guy coming off the bench, and Hausinger had some ice to work with if he was going to be the first one to that puck, but Orval was able to pounce on that one to get the whistle.
Slashing is the call on Liljegren. That'll set up this 4th power play for Lowell. Berisha across for Zink. And now it'll be handed off for Smith. Gambardella down low, looking to center. Or excuse me, that was Gambardella. His centering pass was broken up and cleared by the Engineers. All the way down, it's left there by Tyler Wall. New York Rangers draft choice. And freshman who has looked solid in this one. Last year, RPI opened the season at UMass Lowell, and it was Kevin Boyle who made 27 saves for the shutout in the 3-0 win. Berisha across for Zink. Fed near side, had to gather on the skate, did C.J. Smith. Not allowing him to take the shot. Now Zink, far side, one-timer Gambardella missed the net, or excuse me, Berisha. Right back out towards the line and out to center. And it'll be Smith turning it into the zone. Bourbonnais looking to break, shorthanded, but Moore didn't see him. He elects to just fire it all the way down. 54 seconds to go on the Lowell power play. 5:20 to go in the third period. And Tuesday night hockey here, just after the new year. Parker Reno in the corner, trying to hold off a couple of Riverhawks. It's finally taken away. Camrus to the point. Forney, stick handling, drops it up on the wall for Camrus. Poked off his stick to center by Reno. Back to their own line, it's Forney. Shot into the corner, near side of the RPI goal, goes behind the cage. Whiffen takes his man out of the play. Wilson fanned on the clear. Centering pass right out in front, and it was Whiffen who just interfered a bit with Camrus. Didn't allow him to take that shot. And now a clearing effort by Nanny. Look out, linesman on the far side. He's able to fire it all the way down. That should do it for the power play. Engineers have killed off the last two after allowing goals on the first two. 2 for 4 are the Riverhawks. Puck sitting on the RPI blue line, played along, shot center ice. Orval had a crack at it. Now DeVito trying to find it. It'll be Mueller goes into the corner. Fed near side for Berisha. It's out to center, too far out in front of Master to handle. Bouncing puck at center, gathered there by Melanson. Back for more. Now Prapavesis. Stick handling across center, he'll ring it in. Berisha trying to shield Orval off the puck. Never got to either of them as they battle forward in the corner. Flip far side. Can Prapavesis get there? Yes, he can. Keeps it alive in the zone. Melanson across for more. More. Wrister coming. Shoulder save. Rebound pops to the far side. Berisha gives it right away. Orval back for DeVito. DeVito looking to center all the way through. That pass had eyes through everybody, including Mears Moore, the intended target, back out to center. 3.5 left in this one. Jimmy DeVito tracks down a skipping puck. It gets it as far as the Lowell blue line, where it's turned back around by the Riverhawks. Into the zone they come. Now Morin. Centering pass out in front. That caught the skate of Collins. And it's moved back out to center ice. Skipped along for Zink. Right back down the middle they go. It's Collins. Carries to the far wall before dumping in. Chase Perry stops it there. TJ Samick up the wall. Only Collins waits. Top of the circle. Fluttering shot. Tipped on goal. Kind of a knuckleball there. A little changeup that Perry has to deal with, but he gloves it with 2:58 to go in the third and a 4-goal lead for Lowell.
First Tuesday of the new year. Not much going on outside of this building. Only 3 other games in Division 1. St. Lawrence and Vermont are tied at 3 in the third period up at Gutterson Fieldhouse in Burlington, Vermont. Northeastern and Yale tied at 4 at a game going on at Ingalls Rink in New Haven. That's midway through the third period. And at Mullins Center in Massachusetts, it's 2-1, say 2-0 AIC over UMass.
Oh, a breakaway chance for Jake Morello. He's had a couple of those in limited minutes this year. Now a shot by Bourbonnais skips wide. He'll pick it up again. Bourbonnais from a tight angle save. Rebound flipped over the top again by Morello. Couple of glorious chances for the Slingerlands New York native. Now we have a delayed offside here on the Engineers. They will touch up. In fact, a couple will go off in a change. I don't remember who his other breakaway was against, but Jake Morello has had a couple of breakaways now in his RPI career. Now Rodriguez steals a puck at center ice. On for Morello to the line. And had a chance there. Actually had 2 chances as the shot by Bourbonnais after the breakaway try was tipped up over the net by Morello.
RPA certainly not playing like they're down by 4 with 3 minutes left.
2 minutes left in this one. It'll be carried on by Edward into the attacking zone. Edward leaning on Reno. They both go down behind the goal. And it'll be Hayhurst to wrap it around to the near side. Rodriguez spins around and plays it up the wall for Polino. Played across, is intercepted by Wilson and turned back up ice by the Riverhawks. Into the zone, Campbell chips it off the boards. Prapavesis runs him off the puck. Scoops along behind the cage for Moore. Mears Moore on for Rodriguez. He'll carry to center ice. Alex Rodriguez to Hayhurst. Trying to centering feed for Polino. It was well tracked by Collins, and now right back up ice comes Campbell. Turns away from the check of Moore. Skips a pass by Wilson in deep. 36-30 now with the shots in this one. So the Engineers have reached 30 shots for the second consecutive game. They had 33 against Harvard. And that 5-1 loss there. Now Morin with a steal at center. Walking right in. A shot and a save by Perry. And he keeps those pads together to hold on to that one. Good change of pace there as Nick Marin quickly into the RPI zone, turned it to a little bit of a 2-on-1. The freshman from Shrewsbury, Mass, looking for his first collegiate goal, not getting it there.
Well, the frustration does start to mount when you see consecutive games where RPI is giving up a ton of goals. This is a fifth straight game they've given up 5. They're not putting a lot of them in the net, so it's hard to really kind of bear down. But you have to also bear in mind that this has been a couple of games against a couple of really good teams. And I don't really want to make excuses for RPI, but they've certainly got an awful lot to work on. But when you look kind of between the lines and take a good solid look at what you're seeing from the Engineers on the ice and not just on the scoreboard, there are some steps in the right direction.
Samek with a shot and the rebound pops away. Lovsgren trying to find it, just kind of whacking everyone around him, seeing if they have the puck. Now a shot goes wide from Marino. Pinching in Samek. Slapper coming, that hit the leg of Morin on its way through. Cameras just chopping this to center to alleviate the pressure the Engineers were putting on there. Here's Samek once more. TJ Samek in, wrister from center. Out of his crease to play was Wall, keep it alive. Sliding it to the far side and making a move out to center are the Riverhawks. Swept into the zone by O'Neill. Stopped behind by Perry with 9. Far side shot off the glass to center with 4 seconds. Maybe one more chance here for RPI from center ice. Popped in the air. 1 second. And that will do it for this one. Engineers turn in a couple of late chances. They can't get any closer than the 5-1 final score line. Shots officially 37-33 in the game. RPI 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Lowell 2 for 4. And they really kind of created some separation in the middle stages of this game, including those 2 power play tallies. I think those are their first 2 goals of the game. Well, no, 2 of their first 3. But anyway, the 2 power play goals made it a 3-0 game, and that was really all they needed to kind of separate themselves from the Engineers tonight.
I think we just saw some really good execution from Lowell tonight. They kind of came in here expecting to win. At least they really should have. The way they've been playing, the way they've been this season, they had to take one look at RPI's record and say this has got to be a game that we win. I think even a tie would probably be more of a loss in their book. But they came in here, they didn't mess around, they executed well, and they got the end result they wanted. RPI, like I just mentioned, I think the frustration really does start to mount when you look at the final scores and you look at those repeatedly. The last several games have just really not looked like they were terribly competitive on the final reckoning. But I think, as I've been mentioning, these are steps kind of sort of moving in the right direction for RPI, and where the Engineers are and where they have been, that's kind of what you want to do. And all they can really do is kind of put this one behind them, keep trying to move forward. They have Clarkson in Lake Placid on Saturday, and if that's a game that they can't get up for, then they probably have bigger problems than what we've been seeing.
Yeah, it'll be another test for RPI. There's no easy games in college hockey. I mean, you look at the Division I hockey as a whole, there's only 60 teams. And so you're really not going to have an easy time. And, maybe say Atlantic hockey's down, they're a lesser league, this or that. But there really aren't any nights off because teams that are below you are going to get up for you. And the teams above you, they have the confidence that you don't have. So it's a matter of finding that confidence and turning it into to a better product on the ice.
And eventually, RPI is going to need to get results in order to get that confidence back, because you can play as well as you can play as well as you want from start to finish. And if you're losing games 5-1, as RPI has now done for the second time in 5 nights, that confidence is going to be difficult to conjure. You really have to be able to get up for it. So. For the Engineers, this is something that they're going to have to work on going forward to eventually get themselves to the point where they can get those results. I'm going to keep this real simple. My RPI offensive and defensive engineer of the game is Will Riley. He had an assist on RPI's lone goal by Victor Lilsgren. He also, as I mentioned earlier, really kind of gets himself in positions to create offensively. And on defense, he had a pretty solid night for the Engineers on a night when defense was pretty hard to come by overall. Mostly just because of the solid attack and the outstanding passing from the Lowell team, but Will Riley a +1 on the evening, so you really can't beat that if you're the Engineers and you just lost by 4. So I think we're going to see some good things from Will Riley in the coming years. He's already executing as a freshman, and that's certainly a bright spot for RPI, is that a lot of these freshmen have looked pretty good. They've shown that kind of ability, and we'll see if they can grow on that for the rest of this season and in the rest of their years to come here in Troy. So that will just about do it for us. For Perilous Scaris. My name is Tom Reel. Your final score here from Houston Fieldhouse is UMass Lowell 5 and RPI 1. You've been watching RPI Hockey on RPI TV.